Who knows? I look forward to the tell-all books that'll come out in about 20 to 30 years. The internet, everyone's got an opinion. It's not like he's gonna be in McDonald's flipping burgers, like, calm down. Maybe she runs a pedophile ring that I don't know about. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved to the UK in May last year and I am documenting my British life and experiences. As a foreigner, I'm very much new to the British press and the royal family and just everyone's attitudes, so I'm kind of learning as I go. And one thing people have been asking me, as a foreigner, what's my opinion on the whole Harry and Meghan situation? Because although I'm not Canadian or British technically, I am from a Commonwealth country, so I do have ties to the Crown, and so while they are currently spending time in North America, in Canada, they could also go to Australia in the future. It's very much all within the same family. So I thought I'd just make a video, my experiences, my thoughts on the whole thing, because realistically this has dominated the news and I should have made this video way earlier, but nonetheless, it's always good to get a foreigner's perspective, and then we can share notes in the comments because I might be missing something because I didn't grow up here. So if you don't know, Prince Harry married Meghan, I think it was 2 years ago, and they had a beautiful wedding, but it was quite controversial because she is American, and she is also, I think she's part African American, not sure which part, top half or bottom half, but yes, so she's half African American, so having that in the royal bloodline complicated a lot of purist, shall we say. So they had a lot of scrutiny from the start, and also I think Americans tend to not be looked so fondly on by the UK, particularly in the royal family. So that was the situation previous, so she's never been super popular with the public. That's all I'm trying to get at with that point. I don't think the British media or public ever really opened her with open arms. Tolerated, I'm not going to say they like bullied her completely, but I just don't think it was like, yay, so excited. Whereas I think with Kate they were a bit more, but I wasn't here for that, so feel free to correct me. But I think everyone was expecting Harry and Kate to get married for so long that by the time they did, everyone was super excited. And obviously he is in line to the throne. What is he, second in line to the throne? So it's a bigger deal when he gets married and that. And it was the first royal wedding in a long time, so it was a big deal. So, and then last year in spring, right when I moved to the UK actually, Harry and Meghan had their beautiful baby Archie, and I like to have that because she literally gave birth like either just before I arrived or just after I arrived. But now I have like a marker in history as when I moved to the UK. So when Archie turns 10, I'll be like, I've been here 10 years. Or when Archie turns 20, I'll be like, I've been here 20 years, or whatever it is. Or even if he turns 30, I was like, 30 years ago I moved to the UK. Do you know what I mean? So I like having that marker because it was literally the same month we moved to here. But yeah, so that was all history. Now I'm going to go through the timeline, what happened, what's happening, what the public's saying, why they're saying it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then my opinion. Because the internet, everyone's got an opinion. So on January 8th this year, Harry and Meghan dropped the bombshell that they were stepping back from their royal roles at the royal family and going to split their time between North America and Canada. And I think I'm going to read out the Instagram caption because I don't want to misconstrue anything, because this is obviously a big point. This was their Instagram caption, which is so weird that people, like especially the royals, break news on Instagram these days. After many months of reflection and internal discussions, we have chosen to make the transition this year in starting to carve out a progressive new role within the institution. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. It is with your encouragement, particularly over the last few years, that we feel prepared to make this adjustment. Now we plan to balance our time between the United Kingdom and North America, continuing to honour our duty to the Queen, Commonwealth and patronage. Now when that dropped, I think it was a shock to everyone. I don't think everyone expected it. Harry is kind of everyone's favourite. Oh, like, sorry William if you're watching this, but I think everyone has a soft spot for Harry. I don't know why, he's just got that it factor, that charisma. So to lose Harry, I think people got very defensive and started asking why, like what led to this. So the drama was that they posted that on Instagram, but they didn't tell anyone at the royal family, is what they were saying. So they literally just posted like that. To be fair, that's kind of wild. Like if I just posted on my Facebook, I'm moving to London, and I didn't tell my mum, like she would be really confused and hurt. So I understand the palace's reaction in like a bit disappointed, and the Queen's reaction. There has been news of Harry and Will having a bit of a rift between the two, not too sure why. So the day after they announced it, Will came out and was like, I'm kind of sad he didn't tell me, which to be fair is completely expected, understandable. Went to Canada almost immediately with the baby and some dogs and was like peace out, and left Harry to deal with it. I try to think rationally with this, right? So I'll just take a pause from the timeline because it's already a lot. If you think of it as your actual family, right? Just imagine your brother or your cousin or whoever is just like, peace out, I'm moving to the other side of the world, and the wife's already gone with the kid. It would be naive to think there wasn't a trigger. Like surely like they've had a falling out, there's been an argument, something's come up. People don't act irrationally for no reason. Whether or not we'll ever know what actually happened, who knows? I look forward to the tell-all books that'll come out in about 20 to 30 years. But I do think there had to be some discussions. Something's happened. There's been a trigger. Everything happens with a trigger. It's not just out of the blue, particularly to just cut your family off and to leave. I know if Daniel's family disrespected me and I was like, I'm done, I'm leaving, I'm not even saying goodbye. Do you know what I mean? Like there's clearly ill feelings there. I'm not saying someone's in the right and someone's in the wrong, but just that something happened. There was a clip of Harry where he said he just wanted to protect his family now that he's got a son as his own, and he said, if you do the things I knew, you would do the same, something to that effect.
I will always protect my family, and now I have a family to protect. So everything that she went through and what happened to her is incredibly raw every single day, and that's not me being paranoid. That's just me not wanting a repeat of the past. And if anybody else knew what I knew, be it a father, be it a husband, be it anyone, you'd probably be doing exactly what I'm doing as well.
Once again, it just to me alludes that there was something happening behind closed doors that we don't know about. Lots of people, whether or not they're like verified or not, like family, friends and that, have come out saying there was a lot of things said during the wedding time and that the pressure was on and that they've just been more increasingly hard to deal with on both sides, and so that Harry and Meghan feel they're being driven out, but also the royal family find them hard to deal with. No one's giving specifics, so you can't really like say who's right or wrong, but so all in all, there's been a lot of speculation as to the why. Like I said, I think something has happened, but I also think you got to look at the people. Okay, so Meghan is she's kind of like a strong feminist. She's very proactive. She's done UN work. She wrote to Hillary Clinton when she was 11. She's always been kind of an advocate for the minorities. So I can imagine, once again, pure conjecture, that she would have wanted to use her role in the royal family to further those endeavors, to work, doing a lot of charity work, initiatives, talking on the UN. She's a big advocate for that. She talks a lot to modern day slavery. She talks to the youth summits. She's traveled to India and Botswana for women's issues. Like, she's very involved in charity work, which is a huge role normally within the royal family. So I can imagine she thought, oh yeah, I'll use that and do more with it that way. She hasn't done anything really since becoming a princess or whatever, you know, duchess. So like maybe that was shutting things down, who knows. Also, there's been many times when the media has just gone in on her and she's been slammed by the media, and someone on BuzzFeed made this great list. I mentioned it in a different video where they compared how the media responded to Kate doing something and Meghan doing something else. I'll put the examples on, but you can see. One avocado for Kate is a really cute pregnancy supplement, but for Meghan Markle it's you're furthering fucking gun violence or something. So they definitely had double standards for the two princesses, and she was definitely struggling. And I think as a new mum, I'm sure a lot of you are parents out there, it's always hard to be a new parent, particularly when you're I think every parent for the first 6 months feels like an awful parent. You're still figuring it out, you're still learning things. I'm not a parent myself, but I have friends who have kids, so I know how hard that can be. And to have the media telling you that you're awful on top of that, on top of all the hormones. And then Meghan did this interview where she said no one's asked if she's okay, and she pretty much said she wasn't.
We're really happy because I was so happy, but my British friend said to me, I'm sure he's great, but you shouldn't do it because the British tabloids will destroy your life. You add this on top of just trying to be a new mom or trying to be a newlywed. It's, yeah, well, I guess, and also thank you for asking, because not many people have asked if I'm okay, but it's a very real thing to be going through behind the scenes.
And the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay? As in, it's really been a struggle.
Yes. So I think she's probably had some sort of like postpartum depression or something combined with the media pile-on. So that's Meghan. And so you look at Harry. Harry's, been brought up in it. He's a prince. He should know what to expect, etc. However, he also lost his mum at a young age, and he lost his mum because of the tabloids treating her like they're treating Meghan. So I can completely see how this is a huge factor for him in terms of not wanting the same thing to happen to his wife that happened to his mum after having lived that trauma, and just in general that being quite a sore spot and a trigger for him to be like, nope, get out. If you just equate it to like any other, like if you lost someone to cancer, you would be doing cancer checks every year. So because you're so paranoid, it's the same thing with him. So he just wants to protect his wife and his family. So completely understand why he has no problem just going. Do I think he could have handled it better? Probably. That's why I think there must have been some event behind closed doors that's triggered him to leave like that. Usually, when you storm out of somewhere and slam the door, it's to make a point. So I think him leaving without saying anything was to prove a point to them, whatever that was. So I can fully understand where he's coming from. And if Meghan's having a bad time and they're not treating her well, I think it's fair play to leave. Like, don't leave a toxic relationship if they're being toxic. I'm not going to be arrogant and assume I know what goes on in the palace, because I don't think even the media or most people have no idea what actually goes on behind closed doors there. It'd be fascinating to be a fly on the wall, but not an easy decision to make, not a fun decision to make. Like, he's obviously going to have a lot of fallout and a lot of backlash, so must have been worth it. There must have been something that was happening. The fact that they're trying to be financially independent, I think, is good, because now that living in Canada, Canada has to foot the bill, and I can see why that would be not great for Canada, but also Canada's so friendly and nice. I'm sure they'd be fine with it. But realistically, they're famous, they're celebrities. Like, I know they're royals, but they're also famous. If someone with 50,000 Instagram followers can make a living on Instagram, I think Prince Harry and Markle will be fine. They'll sell books. They're gonna have so much income. They don't really need Canada's money if they actually have the freedom to go and be a bit more have a few more ventures and be a bit more capitalist. I'm sure they're going to be more than self-sufficient. It's not like he's going to be in McDonald's flipping burgers. Like, calm down. Overall, it's made me love Harry more. If we assume, because nothing happens for no reason, that something happened and his wife wasn't happy, that instead of cheating on her, walking away from her, telling her to just deal with it, sorry about the roadworks, I can't help it. So Prince Harry could have stayed loyal to the crown, but he stayed loyal to his wife and his family and his child, and I think that shows a lot of integrity and strength, more strength than to stay to the institution that's safe. He took a risk for the ones he loves, and I think that's very admirable. Obviously, I still would love him to be in the UK, but realistically, it's not like I hang out with him, so whether he's in Canada or here, it doesn't make any difference to my day-to-day. And he's not actually in line to, he's in line to the throne, but something drastic would have to happen for him to be king anyway, so it's not like he was going to be king and he's abdicating. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for, if life's not working out, change something. Don't just complain or grin and bear it. Mix it up, do what makes you happy, and I think they have. I do, pure speculation, tell me in the comments what you think, but I do think it is interesting that this happened not long after the Prince Andrew thing happened. So I don't know, like, you know, the interview and they're not sweating, but now he sweats, and the blah blah blah, and the Pizza Express in Dorking, that whole thing, that interview, that happened at the end of last year, and then they left in January. So I'm wondering if something inside the palace went down about that, and then Harry's like, if you knew what I knew, etc. So I don't know. It's made me respect them a lot more, because it wasn't easy and it wasn't fun, and if they thought they got bad press before, oh boy, they got so much worse now. So it definitely wouldn't have been easy. So there must have been a reason, and I trust their decision making, because I don't know their lives. That's it for this video. Just a bit of an opinion piece on like current British events, which nothing can be more big in the news than Meghan and Harry leaving. Tell me in the comments below your thoughts. Are you happy? Did you not really like Meghan? I'm assuming not, since most of you are British and most British people don't like Meghan for whatever reason. Personally, like, I'm not her biggest fan, like I'm not like posters on her on the wall or anything, but she's never done anything that would indicate to me to have false intentions. She's always tried to do good, and that's all I can judge off, and so she seems fine to me, but maybe I don't know something. She seems fine to me, but maybe I don't know something. Maybe she runs a pedophile ring that I don't know about. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time.